Why is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta so different? And why didn't he use it in Super? We've seen Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Gotenks in canon before, but even this is a drastic change to such an iconic transformation. After over 30 years of being made fun of for skipping a form entirely, or not being able to achieve what the lower class could, the newest episode of Dragon Ball Daima broke the Dragon Ball community by finally showing us this. What is this? Is this really Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? I've even seen people say that this is something between 2 and 3. That's how different it looks. Huh? But yes, it is officially called Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, with the new SH figure arts even calling him so. Never thought I'd see the day where we get a canon Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. He's unique in that he's one of the only characters to have both a canon and non-canon look to the exact same form. In Dragon Ball Daima episode 12, during the fight against Tamagami number 2 in the second demon realm, Vegeta finds himself on the ropes. Super Saiyan 2 just isn't cutting it anymore, especially when the Guardian of the Dragon Ball is powered up by Neva to give Vegeta an even greater challenge. After being blasted into the ocean floor, Vegeta erupts from there and powers up into this hidden state. The only explanation we really get is that Vegeta has been training by himself ever since the defeat of Buu. Daima takes place within a year after the end of the Buu arc, so he really progressed a lot in such a short amount of time. So he's able to easily defeat the Tamagami after this, winning the 2-star ball. Between Vegeta's new state and a new set of Dragon Balls, Daima just keeps giving us a bunch of interesting new lore and character moments. So much so that I made a video analyzing and explaining every single Dragon Ball set because of it. But back to Vegeta's new form. The form itself looks very different than the Goku version, with Vegeta's hair standing straight up, forming something that looks kinda like a star shape from the front. This design is actually inspired by scrapped ideas Akira Toriyama had for the original appearance of Super Saiyan 3, with Goku's hair closer to what he looks like in 2, but with no bangs or eyebrows. He was also supposed to regrow a tail, which would have been just insane if it carried over here too. I really like Vegeta's new Super Saiyan 3. I love the idea of giving Vegeta something totally different, even if it is the same form. But why does it look so different? Well, there's a few explanations. Vegeta's own hairstyle is very different from Goku's, so it would make sense for Super Saiyan 3 to look different too. But then again, Gotenks' hair is closer to Vegeta's, and his Super Saiyan 3 looks like a mini version of Goku. But Vegeta has always been pretty consistent with his hair in every form, always keeping that general shape. The only exception up to this point was the non-canon versions of Super Saiyan 3. Even things like Super Saiyan 4 and Ego keep the general shape of Vegeta's hair and just add something like a mullet at times. This is in comparison to Goku's Super Saiyan 4, which although is kinda similar in shape, it's very clearly not the same. So this version does feel more in line with the original design idea for Vegeta's hair, always standing tall no matter what. To put it in terms that the Saiyans would have used back then, the Royal Elite's hair never bows down. It always stands tall, unlike the low-class Saiyan, which can drop. I mean, think about it. We see Goku's hair slouching when battle-damaged or tired at times, but we never really see Vegeta's do this. Except for when it flies in the wind, Vegeta's hair is always straight up. Something interesting to point out is that we've seen something similar, albeit much more conservative, in GT before. Baby Vegeta, when he first takes over Vegeta, looks pretty normal, with black hair just like when he claims any other Saiyan. It's only when he powers up into Super Saiyan that his hair changes into what we would normally call Baby Vegeta. If so, then his Super Baby form would be equivalent to Super Saiyan. So what does that make Super Baby 2? The Dragon Ball GT Perfect files specifically claim that this form is similar to Super Saiyan 3, and we can actually see this. He loses his eyebrows, and he gets a more pronounced brow ridge. And his hair? Well, it doesn't grow as much as Goku's, nor even the new canon Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but it does grow upwards like the new version, but leans forward like Baby's head shape. It's a small connection, but interesting nonetheless. So maybe we did have a different looking Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta all along, and we just never really knew. The most obvious answer as to why it looks so different is simple. Giving Vegeta a unique look makes it more special to Vegeta, and being more special is going to make people more likely to buy that sweet SH figure arts. Look at that little troll doll. I need him. But then, why did Vegeta never use Super Saiyan 3 in Super? Outside Outside of the obvious, well, Daima wasn't even an idea yet, there's a few possible explanations. The most common one I see is that Vegeta knows the drawbacks of Super Saiyan 3. Goku and Gotenks make it very clear that it's a huge drain to maintain the form, so much so that the power increase sometimes just isn't worth it. So when Vegeta went to attack Beerus, he decided to keep some of his power. But I don't think this argument works, particularly when we talk about the scene where Beerus hits Bulma. Vegeta is screaming out, he's powering up to the max in rage. Do you really think it makes sense for him to stop and think, "Damn, my wife got hit. Better save energy and stick with Super Saiyan 2 or I'm finished"? The point of this scene is clear. Vegeta is reaching an apex because Bulma got hurt, and he surpassed Goku even if for a moment. What I believe is the real reason is that Vegeta at some point after Daima and before Super simply just drops Super Saiyan 3 and starts training his regular Super Saiyan form and makes 3 irrelevant. We have seen something like this idea happen before, like the Kakarot DLC, where Vegeta just trains his Super Saiyan 2 to straight up match and even surpass Goku's Super Saiyan 3. A lot of us are used to the idea of those set multipliers for the forms, but it doesn't seem like Toriyama really thinks of it that way, as he said this in an interview. Super Saiyan 2 and 3 are nothing more than powered up variations of Super Saiyan. After the fight with Beerus, Goku realized that mastering his normal state and Super Saiyan would raise his level more and sap less energy, so I think he probably won't become Super Saiyan 2 or 3 anymore. I believe that Vegeta realized this early on, keeping it more in line with how Toriyama himself sees the transformations. I mean, in the Battle of Gods movie, Vegeta doesn't even go Super Saiyan 2 at that moment. This is changed in the anime, so he goes Super Saiyan 2. So obviously there's not a clear answer just yet. Outside of Daima wasn't a thing back then. But until that time comes, this is my preferred one. Vegeta just dropped Super Saiyan 3 and realized that training his normal Super Saiyan was much more worthwhile, to the point where Super Saiyan 3 was just irrelevant to him, and he could surpass whatever power-up that mutation would have given him. Another possible theory people have pointed out to me on Twitter is that we've never really seen Super Saiyan 3 achieved through rage. I would argue that that's because the characters that have used Super Saiyan 3 up to that point usually just don't get that mad in comparison. In the Bull arc overall, Goku just has a more level head, and Gotenks doesn't really get rageful, but it is a possibility, I guess. Something a bit more interesting to me is why he has it and what it represents. The Tamagamis and their quizzes are similar to what the Namekians say you have to do before you get the Dragon Balls during the Frieza arc. Something we don't actually see happen because Vegeta and Frieza just killed everyone. I think there's a great parallel here between how Vegeta collected the Dragon Balls on Namek versus now, especially since in the Super manga, we know that Vegeta does feel some sort of guilt for what he did there. Essentially, he's doing things right this time. And with that comes his attitude towards training. He wasn't used to training before, that just wasn't something Saiyans and especially royalty would do. But he was forced to do it more as he interacted with Goku and the others over time. That's how he got Super Saiyan 2, for example. But eventually he tried to cheat and go back to how he used to be with Majin Vegeta, get ahead through these strange means. So it must have really stung Vegeta to see Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Otherworld and realize that his rival had this all along because he got to keep his body in Otherworld and train as hard and as much as he wanted to, all because he was a good person. Meanwhile, he would just have to die and get his soul recycled. Thankfully, of course, King Yama decided to keep his body just for a little bit. Now, after the Bull arc, after Vegeta admits that Goku is number 1, he has gone back to the drawing board, training and learning by himself. And keep in mind, he has something of a disadvantage here. He doesn't have the insane S-Cells boost that the kids have, nor the power of the fusion, nor Goku's dead body and those 7 years he had to experiment and train to get the form. Vegeta here is as basic as you could be, alone on Earth in Bulma's gravity room. Presumably. You could argue Vegeta achieved Super Saiyan 3 in a more human way than anybody else did. Now, I'm not usually the biggest Vegeta fan, but I do gotta admire him for that. While editing this video, I actually found a video by Jordan the Dragon Lee, where he explains something similar to what I said here and really delves into the significance of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. It goes in a lot more depth than I do here. I have seen some people say that it didn't seem like Super Saiyan 3 took a toll on Vegeta like it does for Goku, and that maybe he was able to nullify the drain, but I think that Vegeta was just so above the Tamagami and finished him off so fast that the power drain was just negligible. Also, he fights with his legs mostly, quite reminiscent of Vegeta, which I love. So it looks like he got it from him. But of course, this isn't actually the first time we've seen Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. This form used to be a simple what-if first introduced in Dragon Battlers, the previous game to Dragon Ball Heroes. He showed up to battle Broly, who had his own Super Saiyan 3, and his bio in Raging Blast claims that he got the form through pure rage and training that drew out the max max potential from his Saiyan blood. This could just as easily apply to the new canon version of the form. But Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta probably has the most variations of the character I've seen. There's GT Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Xeno Super Saiyan 3, Majin Super Saiyan 3, even Scouter Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in World Mission. Now that we know that this form can look different between users, I wonder if what-ifs in extended Dragon Ball media will follow suit. Like, are we going to see a different version of Super Saiyan 3 Broly and Trunks, for example? And there you have it, the mystery of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, from its canon debut in Daima to its many what-if appearances in games and spin-offs. This form, for being non-canon as long as it has, really left its mark, whether you like the old design or the new one. But what do you think? Does Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 deserve all the hype, or is it just another form for me not to pull in Dokkan?
No! Yo! What? Shenron!
Don't forget to final flash that subscribe button and check out my video explaining every single Dragon Ball set and Eternal Dragon.